So when these cars were sold new, they weren't marketed as Ferraris, they were Dinos, you know, marketed as almost Ferraris. But does this car deserve the Ferrari name? Well, I'd say we're about to find out.
You can make an argument that the little Dino Ferrari, whether it's a 206 or a 246, is one of the prettiest Ferraris ever built. Super compact, really curvy, sexy lines, a little six-cylinder, and that was really why some of the purists weren't that excited about the car in the day. It's not really the reason it was badged as a Dino and was not badged as a Ferrari. That really came about because Enzo's son, Dino, who died at 24, was working on the V6, the little 2-liter engine, to go racing against the Porsches, run Formula 2. They had to build 500 cars in order to do that. So after Dino passed away, old man Enzo looked at the car and said, "This is going to pay homage to my son, therefore it has the Dino nameplate on it." Originally when they came out, they were a great little car. They were a fun, nimble little car. They didn't really get the respect of most other Ferraris, but I'll tell you, in the last 10 years, I would never have dreamt that a 206, a 246, a Flares and Chairs cars would bring more than a Daytona Ferrari. They've almost flipped places where the Dino, an exceptional one, will touch on $1 million today, a 206. This car here is obviously a 246 GT, so let's say it's bottom of the totem pole, but there's a lot of bang for the buck in one of these cars, and it has the same look as a 206. The 206 came with a 2-liter engine. They only built 150 of those cars, but it was an all-aluminum car. That car is arguably the most desirable of the Dinos. That's why that car is close to $1 million in perfect condition. The 246, they built 3,700 of those cars. It's all steel, and in order to make up for the extra weight, they put a 2.4-liter motor in that car. This is a beautiful example of a very original 71 246 GT. What's really cool about this car is the history. So the guy that's owned that car up until today, he bought it in 1968 on his honeymoon. Still has the same wife, still has the same car. He's getting a little older now. His knees aren't that great, his hips aren't that great. He says it might be time to move it on. So he's looked after this car since 1968. He bought it in Sicily, brought it home, and has used it ever since, very sparingly. It's a relatively low mileage car. It's had a repaint to its factory original fly yellow color, which I think is one of the prettiest colors on these little Dinos. The interior, he redid the seats on the car a few years back, and he's meticulously maintained the car over the years. He drives it sparingly, but it does get used. Now, I had the opportunity with one of these cars years ago on Dream Car Garage to go around a racetrack, and I gotta admit, I wasn't a real big fan of the little 2.4-liter six-cylinder before I got into the car. I got into the car, and I'm telling you, the thing handled unbelievably well, was more than peppy. I actually found the car a real joy to drive, and of course it's a super good looking car. I fell in love with 246 Dinos that day for multiple reasons. When you drive it, you're not sure exactly what it is at first, because let's face it, when you think of Ferrari, you think of a sweet sounding 12-cylinder motor that has all sorts of power. Well, this is a little 6-cylinder motor. It's actually 2.4 liters. It's a cast iron block. It's got aluminum heads. It's also got double overhead cam, 2 valves per cylinder. It makes, at best, 195 horsepower at 7,600 RPM. Now, it is a mid-engine Ferrari, and the handling is a lot better than what you'd expect. It's a light little car, 2,400 pounds. It's got unequal length A-arms, coil spring suspension, and obviously it's got front and rear sway bars. A nice balanced little package. So you're still gonna have a top speed of about 140 miles an hour, and where this car really shines is in the corner. It's just a fun, dynamite little car to drive. Like all Ferraris, they're meant to be driven. Anybody that thinks Ferraris are really delicate cars really hasn't taken one out to the racetrack. Remember, the whole idea behind a Ferrari, or at least Enzo's philosophy, is I'm building these street cars in order for me to go racing. And a lot of that technology got transferred over to cars even like this. So never think they're delicate. They may be expensive to repair, but they're not delicate. As far as carburation goes, well, this is a carbureted car. It's got 3 Webers, twin chokes, downdraft. They're a little finicky sometimes, but once they're tuned properly, they run great. The other thing to watch out for is the front timing chain. A lot of guys, because it's awkward to get to, only do the rear. That can be devastating if you have an issue, if it skips a tooth. If you're buying one of these cars, you definitely want to take a mechanic who knows his stuff, because they're not cheap cars to fix. A matter of fact, the people that say this car isn't really a Ferrari, they should take it in for repair. They'll understand it's a Ferrari. I want Gary to take this one for a drive. I want him to experience the car. He's not going to take it to a racetrack, but I'll tell you, it's one of those cars, once you drive it, you feel like you're part of the car, you're down low, you're in the road, you're not on top of the road. You know, of course the Daytona is a great highway cruiser. This one here is a great city car, or, you know, through the Alps or twisty, tight turns. This is a great car, a real driver sort of car. You got to wind it out, use the RPM, but nice, nimble little car. We'll see what Gary thinks of the car.
And first impressions are, man, you are absolutely in a sports car. You got to see what I'm looking at here. You've got this bubble windshield, you've got the huge front fenders. Like, I feel like I'm in a P4 or a 206 SP. Oh, this car sounds good. Oh yeah. Just that little 2.4 liter classic Ferrari just humming along. Just the stats, just the numbers don't do it justice. You know, you look at the spec sheet and you've got 195 horsepower and 160 some odd foot-pounds of torque. You wouldn't expect much out of a car like that. But this light little high revving, you know, 2,300 pound car really has good get up and go. Really a fun little car. As far as cars from this era, you don't get much closer to a proper European sports racing car for the street than a car like this. I feel like I'm sitting on the ground. My view out the windshield, again, looks like I'm in a 206 SP or even a P4 with the bubble windscreen, the way the wipers sit, and the way those big fenders are just poking out, big yellow fenders. Just last year, I got to drive a Porsche 904, and I have to say, this is a very similar car as far as the great engine noise right behind your head, as far as the feel of sitting on the ground and the connection between the front tires and your hands here on the steering wheel. There's not a lot lost in translation here. Whatever you ask of the car, it does. Oh yeah. What a car. Woo! Oh, that's good stuff. And slightly more comfortable than I would have expected on these rough country roads. Not completely rigid like a go-kart. Maybe that is a little bit of a differentiator between the 904 and this car. You've got the tubular chassis, but the suspension is set up, I guess, a little bit more as a GT car than a full-on race car. I think there are very few cars from this era that even hold a candle to this car as far as how good this thing looks from every angle, whether you're behind the driver's seat, whether you're standing outside the car. Yeah, very special car. And of course, as far as the Ferrari feel goes, you've got everything you want out of a Ferrari. You've got the gated shifter, you've got the Momo steering wheel, you've got the Campagnolo wheels, you've got the look, you've got the yellow car, you've got all the looks you could ask for. So with this car being the first mid-engine Ferrari built for the street, you've got to think, what if? What if this car never existed? Would the 288 GTO have been the same car? Would the F40, the F50, the Enzo, the LaFerrari have been the same car? I don't know. While this car never wore the Prancing Horse badges, it certainly deserves to be listed amongst the greatest Ferraris ever built for the street. If you want to see more car content like this, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to visit our website to explore our curated inventory of luxury, classic, and investment grade cars.